Maureen Prescott was a wife and mother who lived in the affluent suburb of Woodsboro, California. Maureen was known to people as a warm, vivacious and attractive lady. To much of the outside world, Maureen really represented the quiet and sedate lifestyle of American suburbia. She was the kind of woman you can imagine grabbing the groceries every Wednesday, throwing lavish dinner parties for all of her neighbours and friends, and being an active participant of the PTA at her daughter's high school. On October the 20th of 1995, all imagined assumptions about Maureen Prescott would be forever destroyed when she would be found brutally murdered in the bedroom of her own home. Join me, Untrue Crime, on this journey down this rabbit hole as we seek to uncover who Maureen really was, what secrets could she be hiding, and we ask the question, who murdered Maureen Prescott? As far as beautiful autumn nights go in California, October the 20th in Woodsboro County couldn't have been more perfect. It was a warm Friday evening and people were wrapping up work for the week and headed back home to see their families or to hang out with friends at the local bars and restaurants. Maureen's daughter Sydney and her friend Tate and Riley had just finished after school practice and were meant to be heading directly to the movie theatre. On the way, as Tatum drove, Sydney was looking through her satchel when she realised that she had left her purse at home that morning. So she asked Tatum if she could quickly spin the car around and go back to Sydney's so that she could retrieve her purse. As the pair pulled up to Sydney's house, Tatum said to her friend, "Hurry up or we missed the movie." As Sydney hastily entered her home, she noticed immediately upon arrival that it seemed eerily quiet, and she called out for her mother but received no response, which was strange as she was expecting her to be home. As Sydney began to alight the stairs, she heard a bang and a flurry of footsteps coming from the back of the house. So she stopped, came back down the stairs, walked through the kitchen and headed towards the back door. As Sydney poked her head outside, she saw a man at the very end of the garden fleeing into the wooded area that surrounded the Prescott property. The man kind of reminded Sydney of her boyfriend in the fact that he had slicked back hair, was broad-shouldered, was tall, around 6 foot and Caucasian. The man was also wearing some kind of dark, spotted jacket. It was so dark that Sydney barely saw him at all. Upon seeing this man, Sydney slammed the back door shut, locked it tight, and went looking for her mother. When Sydney did find her mother, she let out a scream that was so loud and so horrific that Tatum, who was still sitting in the car parked to the end of the drive, heard it. Tatum would later state in a police interview that until the day she dies, she will never, ever forget that scream. If the crime scene could have been summed up with just one word, that word would have been vicious. If allowed a second word, that word would have been rage. Maureen's death was brutal. The room was covered in blood. The official cause of death was declared to be major blood loss due to deep penetrative wounds to Maureen's head, chest and groin. The forensics report declared that Maureen had most likely died due to an attack from someone that she knew as opposed to a stranger. The attack was so savage and so brutal that it was deemed extremely unlikely that someone who didn't have a personal vendetta against Maureen had committed the attack. It was just too brutal to be random. The autopsy report also revealed that Maureen had marks on her hands, knees, elbows and shins, most likely defensive wounds from trying to fight off her killer. The forensic report also revealed that there had been semen deposited inside of Maureen just hours before her death.